And welcome to Fight Net Radio. Lee Honish, Andrew Lapachet, Miguel Antonio Barragan, bringing you the wonderful world of boxing. We've been off for a week because mainly there was nothing going on. Let's be brutally honest about the past week. There wasn't any. There weren't any fights last weekend, and to be perfectly honest, yes, we missed the Sunday window. We had. I always say that we had family issues within the tank. That means one of us had to do something. Then we usually try to get it out by Monday if we do that. And then there's this Wednesday window. And if we don't hit the Wednesday window, if you don't see a show by then, you're probably not getting a show for that week. Just being perfectly honest for everybody who listens. That is how this has historically worked. So we had the week off. We'll jump right back into it. As always, go to boxingtonight.io. That is the home of Fight Net Radio. You can get a news feed as well as multiple ways to listen to the show. And last but not least, you can also get the boxing schedule. And that's where we're going to start this week. Indeed, we are. Next Saturday, October the 15th, is what I want to call Super Boob Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to sell you guys on the title of the show being Super Boob Saturday, but hear me out. Next Saturday is Super Boob Saturday. The number of possible nipple slips, I calculate in the range of at least 50 possibilities for nipple slips next week. Just putting it out there. To our producer, Sam Navajero, we'll start right off. If you're wondering, boy, the show seems out of order. It is, because I can do that. Let's start October 15th, Melbourne, Australia. Did you know they have lots of crime there? Fun fact, Melbourne, fun fact. Let's start off with the Maloney's taking over, I guess, the underneath side of this card before we get to the main event. But Jason Maloney's the talent, and Andrew Maloney's just the brother, as I understand it, Miguel. Is that, have I got that right? I mean, I don't give two shits about these guys, but the more I say I don't give a shit, the more it seems to be enjoyable to our producer, Sam Navajero, for me to crap on Australian events.
Yeah, they're crowd pleasers. They put on some pretty good fights, and of course they're going to be in Melbourne, so it's kind of a,
so they're Australian. I would have to know they're Australian. Right.
Yes, exactly. You had to know that part, of course. Sorry. It's kind of a given. You kind of need to know.
I knew that. All right, everybody, calm down. But that was a good joke. That was a really good.
Yeah, I mean,
that probably made one guy in Australia go, "What?"
they did drill it into our heads the last time. The one, I forgot which Maloney it was that got a really raw decision on some shit that supposedly was a headbutt with Franco. I think it was Joshua Franco, and that. I think it was Testosterone talking about. He flew from all the way over here to get this decision, and he just kept drilling into our heads how much of a shitty decision it was that he came all the way over here from Melbourne. Like, all right, John, we got it, or Joe. But anyway, yes, they're crowd pleasers. They're put on some good fights, and I'm not gonna say they won't, and they're fun to watch. So of course they're gonna put them on the undercard.
Andrew, what do you have any feedback on the Maloneys at all?
No, yeah, Andrew Maloney ended up coming back and losing the rematch to Franco too. So that kind of sucked for him. It was a double whammy. So yeah, no, they're exciting fighters, but that's all I got.
Andrew, fun fact: did you know that the black box was invented in Melbourne?
Very nice.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Is that the little box?
Like the airplane black box was invented.
Yeah,
oh shit! Damn it! There goes my criminal mind. I was thinking about the black box that steals cable. Jesus.
Really? Okay, so I was thinking. I was thinking the bad water. I was thinking the bad water park ride called the Black Hole. Not really the black box, but the main event.
Those little black boxes were the greatest things to mankind in the 90s.
Yes,
they were.
That I had one, and I watched every fucking pay-per-view, every wrestling
pay-per-view
on this shit. Yes, that's what I was about to give Australia a lot more credit than what I really am going to give them.
and you got two softcore porn channels, right? Like there was Playboy at that time, and then
it was real at the end.
No, it was real. Oh, bro,
yeah,
late 90s, it was fucking hardcore. Yes,
that's right. That's right.
Main event of the. How much more can we crap on in Melbourne in this segment? Stay tuned. That's hilarious. Get into illegal black boxes. Title fight, Devin Haney taking on George Kambosos Jr. I hated the first fight. If you have not heard it, it is in the archive. It is for all the titles. I thought it was at best dull. Miguel, fun fact, the first traffic lights in Australia were installed in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. Well, I mean, maybe Kambosos can learn a thing or two by that red light and say, stop, don't take the rematch with Haney. Because there's not really much that I saw in that first fucking fight that's going to make me believe that, Kambosos is going to do anything differently. Let's hope for the sake of viewers, because I will be watching, but let's hope for the sake of viewers that Kambosos is able to change up something and deliver a much better performance than the last time around. Because, I mean, it was really more so a non-event last time and not exactly the kind of fight you want to see somebody, a young guy like Haney, when it's his crowning moment, he becomes the undisputed lightweight champion. You kind of expect there to be a hell of a brawl or a hell of a fight, like he had to pry the damn belts from Kambosos' hands, and that didn't exactly happen. So let's hope something differently happens this time. I'm gonna watch, of course. I'm gonna tune in to catch it. This is the top two guys in the weight class. Of course, when you see the best fighting the best in boxing, doesn't matter how one-sided it is, I'm gonna tune in to watch it. So I'm looking forward to watching it, but please, Kambosos, I hope you have a different game plan.
Andrew, fun fact, did you know they have one of the longest tram systems in the world?
Very nice.
Yes, there you go. The parking lot's further away. I realize they mean train, but that was really, once again, funny joke just to me. Kambosos versus Haney. I hated the first fight, Andrew. I know you'll watch it, but it was a hard watch.
It was a boxing match. It'll be a boxing match again. I don't know if Kambosos can change it up that fast to bring a different approach. He's going to go in there and give it his best. But yeah, Devin Haney obviously outclassed him last time. And so if they're going to keep it a chess match, I favorite the American boxing as always again.
Since the fight happens tomorrow in Australia, I'm hoping Sam can tell us the outcome so we can bet on it today.
I was like, what are you talking about?
It's a joke about
the
time difference.
Okay, I was going to say that doesn't really work.
All right, whatever. In London at 2:30 on ESPN. One is at 7:30, one's at 2:30. Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall. Keep track. I almost need to make chicken scratch on this fight card alone. Clarissa Shields is taking on Savannah Marshall. Michaela Mayer is taking on Alicia Baumgardner. All stacked on an all-female card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. It's 24 boobs in this fight all by itself. We talked about the fight before. I'm waiting for an ESPN Plus boob slip, and would they immediately pull the camera away, or would you get a boob shot if somebody yanked the top, Andrew, on ESPN Plus?
Oh, I'm guessing they're going to pull away because of they don't want anyone suing the network if the camera was to stay on it too long. I think the respectable thing is to pull away, right?
All right. Any new feelings on Marshall Shields or Mayer Baumgardner than what we discussed before?
No, very excited for both of these fights. I will be watching this one. So yeah, good setup here. As far as the whole women fight card, awesome that they're doing it, but I'm sort of over ESPN announcing every time they do something like this. They've done it for every sport consecutively for 3 years now. Like, we're at some point it's got to be like, all right, ESPN, calm the fuck down. So I'm glad they're doing it, but we've seen it a lot of times. Just because it's a different sport, is it really groundbreaking? They've already done it.
Miguel, any new feelings on Shields, Marshall, Mayer, Baumgardner, and or the possibility of 24 nipple slips? Because I know you'll watch the whole fight.
He will.
Oh, geez.
He'll watch the whole.
Well,
fight.
okay. I'm gonna watch it. Yes, of course I am gonna watch it. You best believe I'm gonna watch it. But I'm pretty sure they're whatever it is they're gonna be wearing is gonna be quite secure to ensure that doesn't
Right.
happen. Because I mean, let's say for the sake of argument, something like that does happen, no one's gonna go fuck about the fight. That's what everyone's gonna be talking about the next day.
Oh my
Is
God, it's so great.
somebody's pierced nipple comes out, and you're like, oh gosh. Like I don't know which one it was. It was probably Marshall or some shit. The person you least expected to have pierced nipples and shit.
I put it on
But
Mayor. She's got that bad
maybe.
girl thing to her.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, and I too am over this like all girl thing. Like I get it, folks. It's and they're gonna call it groundbreaking or whatever, fantastic. But I don't. It irks me that they don't want the fact that they're women to be a factor at all as they're coming up. But once they're on top, it's like okay, and that now it's the first woman to this. First woman, like no, okay, you didn't want the fact that you don't want the fact that you being the chick is gonna in any way, shape, or form put any ceiling on your career. Great, but then once you reach it, you want to blast to the world that you're a woman. It's like it's either or, bitch. You can do both. Anyway, so I'm sure they're gonna have like that Conti chick, doing the commentating as well. For all I know, they're gonna have like all female fucking broadcasters or some shit like they did last time. I don't know if they're gonna go that far or not, but nonetheless, if it is,
But like
yeah.
But like you said, Miguel, they did last time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they have done it, right? Exactly. So it wasn't like they haven't fucking done it.
The most politically correct fight card of all time.
Yes, especially if it's going to be the dudes. Like, is it's going to be, Andre Ward and fucking Timothy Bradley and Joe
Oh
Tatasso.
my God, it would be
They're
so
going to be
great if
so
it was.
careful to not accidentally slip like, oh, homegirl's got a dump truck. I mean, oh gosh, they're going to be so careful not to say the wrong fucking thing. It's going to be a shitty commentating. So just let the chicks do it by all means. Go ahead, let them do it.
On Saturday night, October the 15th, we can count Deontay Wilder as one boob.
Jeez. Okay.
Like, you see what I did there? You like that? Deontay Wilder is taking on Robert Helenius. The undercard is Anthony the Dog Durrell. God help us. Taking on Caleb Plant in an execution style match is all I can guess, because they'll want to build Plant up because he's the moneymaker. And Gary Antonio Russell against nobody. I don't know why they keep pushing Gary Antonio Russell as like a big deal on their undercards that people should care about. Caleb Plant never fought anybody. He got into Canelo money. Again, another situation and another failed experience. Which takes us to the main event. Robert Helenius is the only independent bad boy on this fight card. And I desperately want him to win just to see what it would do to Deontay. Like, I think he'd pull an automatic weapon out of a bucket and start shooting up the arena if he lost to Helenius. Like, I think it would be that soul-crushing and ego-crushing to him. I start with you, Andrew. How you feeling about the Deontay Wilder, let me say it for the room, pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's a tough sell on pay-per-view. I don't know how the numbers are going to do for Wilder there. I will say the PBC has done a great job of building a fan base, still a loyal fan base. So would not be surprised if they at least report that they did good on pay-per-view. But we will see. Not interested in the undercard at all, those names you named off. Russell, you can add him, the whole Gary Russell family. You can add those names to the list of PBC guys that have just built these fighters up with really no resume at all, yet on their fan base they act like they're all headliners. So a good job at Al Heyman doing that. As far as the main event, very interested in this. I echoed the record between PBC and Top Rank fighters before. TBC is Top Rank is dominating the matchups against the PBC. So Helenius versus Wilder is very big to me because Helenius is from Top Rank. He was a prospect when he first came out with them. So to me, that shows that he had someone thought that he was a prospect at one time before, the best organization in boxing. To me, it'd be very funny if he does beat Wilder because yeah,
it'll be hysterical if he beats him. Like, I will literally laugh and fall out of my seat.
Yeah. So one thing I got for Wilder though, when I watched the replay of Kawanaki, Helenius' defense is not that great either. He takes a lot of shots, so he was just taking them off the chin and was able to respond and actually started hurting Kawanaki before he actually got hurt. So I don't know if you want to do the bomb test with Deontay. So at least Deontay has that going for him, that his right hand has a potential of putting him to sleep.
So here's my final question. When Deontay throws the big hand, knocks out Robert Helenius, which would be one of the probable outcomes, is that when he looks directly into, I'm guessing, it's going to be Fox, so it won't be Jim Gray interviewing him, but will he look into the camera and go, "I'm back, baby. Your king is back"?
For the good of boxing, American heavyweight boxing, I think we need Wilder to land that right hand and look into the camera and say that. To be honest with you, Helenius takes this victory. You're looking at a very dominated UK over the pond type landscape in the heavyweight division, where the money wouldn't be good here for those heavyweights, and the belts would stay over there. So kind of need Deontay Wilder to keep us in the mix, at least until the real baby we can see where he's going. There's a few heavyweight prospects we have, but nothing like where the position of where Wilder is right now. So even Andy Ruiz, I don't look at, Andy Ruiz. I kind of have him an underdog against everyone he's going up against. So kind of need Wilder to win this. But it is what it is. If he doesn't, we've seen the heavyweight division stay over there before.
And for anybody wondering, hey, does that mean Fight Net Radio is going to be there at the weigh-ins and cover that and then do a special show on Saturday on how to bet? No, we're not.
Where's the fight? Where is this fight taking place?
In Brooklyn. But I mean, normally we do coverage for a big fight. So I wonder by default for the newer fans if they think, oh, it's a pay-per-view, so there'll be an extra betting show or something great this week. You would be wrong. None of us feel that way about this. This is, I can safely say I know of 3 people right now who are illegally streaming this fight.
Yeah, no,
minimum.
The PBC is not it's been pushing these pay-per-views on their fan base for a while. They don't have any money left. The networks, none of their guys bought in to any of the fighters. They didn't make any of them household names, where Fox or I guess Showtime would say, hey, no, don't put them on PBC. We want to put them on our network. We'll pay you to put them there. No, none of them did. So they've been pushing this shit on us for a while. I mean, come on. That Darrell Plant fight, what an embarrassment. That's your co-main event. That's an embarrassing fight. And freaking, who was the guy under that one?
What, Caleb?
Yeah, the one you named another.
Russell. Was it Russell?
Yeah,
Russell. Yeah.
They've done nothing to warrant a pay-per-view show. This is all PBC driven. So it's sad for their fan base, and I'm not buying this fight.
Yeah, definitely. Stay tuned to the once Andrew jumps off, we'll do a quick tutorial if you're watching the video on how to watch the fight for free by our non-sponsor. Miguel, as you're illegally streaming this and or watching the undercard, what I find so funny about it is you give away 90% of the card, because for those of you who don't know, fights start like at 2:00 in the afternoon. Pay-per-view isn't till 6 or 7. On the East Coast, main event's not going off till about midnight their time, half the time. First of all, I would never fight New York. I would want to fight at midnight. I mean, that's just crazy all by itself. Is there anything on this card that rates on the Scrapometer?
No, they all seem pretty much like one-sided ass whoopings, which is what they, what they intend to do with this card here. People want to, I don't know, they want to make it seem as though it's something that you would want to purchase, that you would want to buy on pay-per-view. I will say I am glad, even though there are 3 fights on the same night, I'm glad that one of them at the very least is earlier in the day, so we don't have to do the toggling back and forth between a couple of screens. And this card here with the pay-per-view, I mean, I think to echo what Andrew was saying about, like, for the sake of American boxing fans and American heavyweights, that we hope that Deontay wins. I think for PBC, like they're fucking dying. They're losing money like left and right, I'm sure. And having somebody back on top, having to rebuild someone like Wilder, I'm sure that it's something that they're attempting to do, and they're basically praying that he comes out of this fight, with the win, and then still keep him somehow as the top heavyweight, and then continue to charge fucking stupid pay-per-views for him. Because if he loses, that's kind of it, because the money's in the heavyweights, right? Those guys are the ones. That's the reason why Usyk is at heavyweight. Those are the big, quote unquote, big name, the heavy hitters. That's like, oh my gosh, heavyweight championship boxing is a big fucking deal. And if they're able to still have their name in the hat, so to speak, PBC, I mean, and to some degree with Deontay, they're gonna do it. But if he loses again, man, that's not just bad for like American heavyweight boxing, but goddamn, PBC is going to take a hard hit there too. I mean, who they're going to fall back on. So, the Charlos, I guess, would be the next ones. But yeah, for the sake of U.S. Heavyweight boxing and PBC, let's hope that Deontay does win. But really, other than that, I got to be honest. I'm glad to see Plant back in the ring. Like we thought, all right, he took his Canelo retirement plan. He lost. He got himself a nice paycheck. Granted, it's been a while since he's fought. And Canelo's already been in the ring. So he did take his 10 million or however much he made in that fight, and it gave himself a little vacation and a break, which is fine, whatever. But he's back in the mix now. I'm not sure if this is for any sort of interim belt or anything like that, the co-main event with Durrell, but nonetheless, I'm glad to see him back in the ring. To be honest, this is the kind of fight that probably should have happened before he fought Canelo, to at least give him some notoriety, because maybe at that point Durrell was worth something. At that point, a win over him still meant something. At this point, not really. So hey, I'm glad to see Plant in the ring. It's going to be a one-sided ass whooping, as I mentioned. Really, none of these fights are going to be scrap-meters. Maybe the main event, I guess. I should say maybe the main event. That would be because what Andrew was saying, talking about Hellenius, he does hit hard, but he's there to be hit. He gets hit, so he's very vulnerable. If he can take Deontay's punch, we're going to have a pretty fun fight. He's just going to throw back. He's not going to go down easily. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. He will go down swinging at the very least. So if there's a scrap-a-meter anywhere on here, if it measures on the needle, it's going to be that main event. And the rest of the card, not really.
Also on Saturday on DAZN.
Oh.
Yeah, in Queensland, Australia. Shout out to the second largest state in Australia, home to the mighty Cane Toads. Did you know one of their biggest win was over the cockroaches? Just thought I'd share that with everybody. And one of their biggest exports is peanuts. Liam Paro, who you've never heard of, and Brock Jarvis, which is the most manly name I've ever seen given to a human. Brock Jarvis. I feel like he should be in the WWE. Brock Jarvis. Taking a card there. And this is the one I'm interested in because these are the two hottest women. There aren't any other real women on this card, but this Mercado Juarez fight, good Lord, they're hot, dude. They're both smoking hot, Miguel. I mean, dumb hot.
Is Juarez the one with the tattoo neck, with the neck on the tattoo? Is that the girl?
I think so, but when I was looking at this and looking it up, they were.
I mean, I'm not crazy about tats, but man, homegirl. And you know what? Homegirl's got a sister too. They're both fucking hot.
Yeah, she's got the neck
Jesus
tattoo.
Christ. Yeah, she's a bad girl. Yeah,
she's a bad girl, and the girl she's fighting has done half naked photos.
Good Lord!
Shout out to everybody. So she. I mean, they've both done the whole routine.
Right.
But this one.
Yeah.
This one. Then there's this one. He's done the half nude behind the curtain routine. I don't like her with the hair up. She needs the hair down. So that's happening. Not televised. Just wanted to give a shout out to the two hottest women.
Why it's not televised? I'm sure you can find it on VIP. Yep.
There's your Super Saturday schedule. Got it all out of the way. There won't be any weigh-ins or additional shows for any of these, even though we're doing, I mean, in theory, if I really had to state it, Haney Cambosos would probably be the one that we'd probably do extra coverage on because it is for all the belts. However, it's a replay. It's going to be a replay. I don't see how somebody found religion in that time span, and it wasn't that exciting to watch the first time. You can also follow us on Facebook. That is our regular weekly home. There is content that we put up or find and share constantly. Andrew and I have clearly been remiss this week in putting up new content, but not much has gone on in boxing. So you can check us out on Facebook. That also connects to all our other social media. So just type in FightNet Radio or visit boxingtonight.io. Let's jump into the news. So I went back 2 weeks didn't need to go back 2 weeks because there really wasn't that much news. We'll start with the Ryan Garcia tank altercation in a club, which I clearly didn't see about. I didn't know that there was a club situation. Andrew, you keep up on these little tidbits. Did you know that they had an altercation at a bar?
Yeah, this is a chain being. I guess Ryan walked up to Tank and asked them if they were going to fight, and Gervonta
Let me say exactly what he said. Yo,
oh, there you go.
Are we going to make this fight happen? Nah, there ain't no respect here. So I said, oh, it's like that. Okay, it's like that. Then he grabbed my chain, but I wasn't worried about it. There were so many security guards there. I knew he wasn't going to take my chain or do anything. He just wanted to seem tough. So I said, wow, it's like that. Is there like something unwritten to there? It's like that. I mean, like these guys are having a full conversation. Can we do a whole show of it's like that? It's
there
like
is
that?
There is a certain, what is it, man law, that if another man puts his hands on you, that's a no-no, right? So if a man grabs my chain, especially if that chain's worth $250,000 or however much the King Ryan chain costed him, you'd think he would defend himself a little, right? So it's what he was taught how to fight for.
I think Ryan's got a little. He's a Mitch. I mean, he's clearly got a little bit of Mitch in him. He is a man bitch on some levels. I think he gets a little prissy. I think
I don't know.
Way more hood.
I don't know if you could call him a man bitch, but clearly, he's not from the streets, right? Because anyone from the streets, Lee, you fucking grab their chain, you're gonna catch it. You're gonna catch a fucking 2-piece at least. At least. Even Barrera and Morales, as classy as they were, they fired on each other when they seen each other out in public. Like, it's just, I didn't like how Ryan, oh, wow, it's like that. What I want to know is, did Gervonta rip it off of him? Was Gervonta just holding it like his leash while they were talking? Or did he rip it off of him and he was like, oh, that ain't nothing. Watch, hey, security, get my chain back. Like, what happened here? But, definitely, Gervonta won round 1 in this club altercation.
But Andrew, is it like that?
Right? I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know, Miguel.
I can see.
Is it like that?
Well, according to Ryan, it is. I mean, Ryan could have made it a little bit differently, because that is like, I mean, these guys are grown men, right? We don't do this.
No,
chest to
none
chest.
of these are grown men. No one in boxing is a grown man.
I guess that's a good point.
I have yet to see anybody in professional boxing where
most athletes, most athletes.
Okay, wait, I'm going to say this. The only positive I could say about Fondura from last night, he seems like a man. He's pretty close. The rest of them do not behave like men.
At one time, Miguel, they were showing the draft and they were playing tag, like in the back. There was a few players like chasing each other like they were playing tag.
Athletes are adult humans by age who get paid to play games. Now, admittedly, they play it at a very high level and very competitively. And I'm not saying that they couldn't kill me with their stare. Right. However, they've been in a state of being a kid playing a game, boxing. Look, you'd have to find boxing fun as a kid to keep wanting to do the grind that long, for God's sakes. I can't imagine. But I digress. No,
well, the point that I was trying to make.
It is like that.
Okay, it is like that. The point that I was trying to make is that, when you are a kid, you do this like chest to chest shit with somebody. You're like, well, you throw a punch, well, you throw a punch. When you're a fucking adult, you don't do that shit. It's like, oh, what, dude? Like, you get within punching distance. This is a heated, discussion, the heated argument here. You get within punching distance, like, bro, I gotta warn you, like, don't be fucking coming that close to me because he's gonna cheap shot you some shit, right? It's just how it is. Like, no, you don't get that close to me. So I'm thinking the way I'm picturing it in my head, the way Ryan says it's like that. Yes, it's like, Ryan had to get hella close because fucking Gervonta's fucking short. So he's like, hey, bro, are we gonna get this fight then? So Gervonta had to be like, dude, back the fuck off. Don't be coming in to try to kiss me or some shit. And pushes him on his chest and happens to grab his chain at the same time. I suspect that's kind of along the lines of what happened. But of course, it's just my forensic files mind going into play here, piecing together how this confrontation, quote unquote, would have happened in a noisy
I
club.
would have loved to have been the fly on the wall of watching just the two of them stand there. Go, it's like
Yeah.
that. It's like
Yeah.
that. It's like that.
Well,
No, it's like that.
Where the hell's the fucking video camera? Like there
Yeah.
wasn't a camera.
Right.
Someone didn't see Ryan walking up to Gervonta and was like, "Oh, this is about to be hot right here."
Right. Or
Right?
anybody
He's
like
about
nobody
to go
recognized them.
off.
Nobody recognized like, oh shit, Gervonta and fucking Ryan are in the same club. Let me pull out
Yeah.
the fucking phone. Come on now.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird, and
Mhm.
I would like to know if he was holding it during the whole conversation, because now that means Ryan,
Like a dog chain.
yeah, he got punked. If Gervonta was just holding on to it while they were talking, on.
I feel like Gervonta would have to look up at him. Why do I feel Gervonta is shorter than Ryan Garcia?
Well, he is, right? I mean,
Yeah, and yes, he is by like 5 inches or something. Like you guys,
yeah,
that's what I
right.
was
It would
saying.
be shockingly different.
If you look at their what is it called, you guys? When you look at their height, their reach, and all that,
oh, the tail of tape.
tail of tape. He's so much bigger than him. There would be people out there, oh, he's cherry picking. That dude wasn't as big as everyone thought. Like they would say that immediately after Garcia beats Davis, because I want to say his reach is like 7 inches. It's fucking he's a lot bigger than Davis for as much as people think this fight is a pick'em fight. If Ryan Garcia has the skill that he sometimes displays, no, this fight has the makings of being over really fast because of the advantages Ryan has: speed and power, height and reach. How many more do you need on your side?
It's a big deal. It's definitely.
Oh, hey, wait. Have we forgotten that Tank doesn't move his head a lot?
And his head is actually connected directly to his torso. I've examined him up close and personal. I mean, I could throw photos up, but Gervonta Davis doesn't have a neck at all. I don't know how he turns it. It's like he's in a. It's shockingly like his head just sits on there. It just. I don't know if it's the tattoo that gives him a bad view, but like when he takes photos, he definitely pulls it out. He's like a turtle almost. He just somehow gets it in between to quote Gorilla Monsoon, the trapezius muscles. He's definitely, it would be a mismatch. The fight's not going to happen anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, especially considering how quickly Ryan can close distance. Sometimes he leaps in with these punches and he's able to find the mark like hella fast. I don't think Gervonta is that fast to bring up his hands. He's going to be hit. I don't know how often, how frequently, of course, but if Ryan is able to use these advantages, it could be a mismatch. Who the fuck knows? But I definitely am looking forward to seeing if the fight happens and if how they react to each other's strengths. I guess that's kind of the part. When I see the best fight the best, it's like, how is this guy going to react to this guy's Sunday punch and the other way around and whatnot? So, I don't think, Ryan, or I'm sorry, not Ryan, Gervonta is quick enough to, because he does have his hands down, right? He does have the habit of bringing his hands down. I'm saying Gervonta, and the fact that Ryan is able to leap in the way he does, it's interesting if the fight actually goes down. Yeah,
the only thing I can like in his style too, he does it almost that weird MMA style of kind of bounce in, hit, and then bounce out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Gervonta Davis is 5'5". All right, they say 5'5" and a half. 5'5" and a half. We'll give it to him. Ryan Garcia is 5'10". Yeah, so he's 5 inches taller than him. He's got a 70-inch reach to. I think that one's not as bad. It looks like Davis is going to be 67. Let me look at one more time. My screen's taking a while. 67, yeah. So it's only 3 inches on the reach, but 5 inches on the height.
He's going to have to be punching up, and that's going to be hard. That tires his shoulders shit like a motherfucker.
Yep.
There you go. Moving forward. Hey, Dillian White's not done getting Dillian Whited in life. He's becoming his own verb.
Can I also throw out there, I don't know if Joe Goosen's ever had as talented as a fighter. Now, when I mean that, I mean natural gifted. Diego Corrales and Ruelas are probably the biggest names Goosen's ever brought up by himself, right? Those were his pupils, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't as fast as Ryan.
I think he had Tony for a long time, right?
But he didn't make Tony. Tony was a middle.
He wasn't
Tony
like a homegrown dude.
At middleweight. Yeah. So Diego and Gabe are still Hall of Famers. They're legends. They have legendary fights. Can you imagine what he's going to create with Ryan, with the natural gifted ability that Ryan possesses, his right hand and his left hook, what Guzin can make off the combinations? Like, say Corrales with Ryan's speed might be unbeatable. With his power, if he had Ryan Garcia's speed, he might be unbeatable. Diego Corrales might have been unbeatable. So it's going to be, I think the trainer in this situation is really going to, I'm really interested in, if I was Floyd, any of the other guys, I'm looking at getting at Ryan Garcia before Guzin actually turns him into a Hall of Famer.
There you go. Moving forward, Dillian White is not giving up boxing, although he should. He hires Buddy McGirt as his new head trainer. Now, here's why this seems ironic to me. Isn't Buddy McGirt the guy who almost fired a fighter for not fighting, basically, and has become somewhat notorious with debating stopping fights?
Stopping the fights. Yeah, good call. Good call.
Right? Dillian White should be stopped before he practices. I mean, at this point, he's been to the top of the mountain. He's been beaten by the top of the mountain. I'm not saying that he probably doesn't deserve to be an undercard or a gatekeeper. He's probably got 2 or 3 gatekeeper level type matches. But other than that, what keeps Dillian White going, Miguel?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, he basically has been, through the ringer with the WBC, which we spoken of quite a lengthy, conversation.
Dedicated months to it.
Yeah. So I mean, and then he finally gets his title shot right against Fury. Granted, it didn't come against Deontay, but maybe that fight is what he wants. Maybe he does want that's an elusive fight, whether it's for the belt or not, against Deontay to prove like, oh, I could have beat him back then too. I don't know, but I mean, I'm sure he got himself a nice little paycheck against Fury, so it's not like it's money necessarily, and he's gonna. I don't know. I mean, I'm not entirely sure at this point. I would have thought that he was on the way out. I mean, hell, when he lost to fucking Povetkin, I thought, okay, that's it. He was going well, but it was a pretty bad knockout. Dude was like laid out for a hot minute. So I don't know. I would have thought by this point he would have called it quits after the payday with Fury. He got himself the payday. Figured that would be it. He rides off into the sunset, but apparently not. He's seems to want fresh blood or fresh. He wants to be invigorated with a new trainer and basically onto this new journey with a new trainer. It sounds like the beginning of something, not so much the end, which is kind of what's the word? Troubling.
Buddy has been a 2-time world champion. He fought a lot of those good guys, Andrew, and been in the corner of top guys as well. He's been around bad years. He's talking all the talk. Like this is going to matter.
The trainer doesn't matter. The training doesn't matter. He's not paying attention to that. Listen, the guy has some money to be made, so he's going to make it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Back in the day, even when a fighter took a defeat from a pound for pound ranked guy or a champion, they would bring him back right away because most of the time that underdog won over a few fans during the defeat. There was, hey, you know what? He lost to him, but man, that Pacquiao guy's awesome. I still liked how he looked anyways. I'll watch his next fight. And their next fight, they actually get more views and there's more interest because of who he fought the fight before. It seems like now, and no knock, I know you just referenced it to a fighter, the retirement plan thing. It seems like everyone's so quick with this whole, oh, he had that one big payday, now he's just going to retire. And sometimes it is true. Joshua Clottey being one of the guys. Spot Manny kind of just disappears, never comes back. Mm-hmm. It's always so weird because if it was me and I just made the highest check of my career, well, shit, what can I get if I come back? Yeah, I might not make the highest check of my career again, but what if I make second highest or third highest? I'm still making good money. Mm-hmm. White, he can come over here and he can fight any of the PBC guys. And with him doing that, he's still going to make, what, $3 million, $5 million? Why not? Those are millions of dollars we're talking about. If he's healthy and the doctors are saying, yeah, you're good, why not? So I'm not, Dillian can come over here and fight any of the PBC guys. I'd be interested. Now, I'm not paying pay-per-view, But
Okay,
I would
there we
definitely
go.
watch a Showtime or Fox fight with Dillian White versus any of the PBC heavyweights.
There you go. Hopefully, Robert Hellenius, who will have just defeated Deontay Wilder.
Come on,
Zepeda.
Lee. You're not for American heavyweights.
Ugh,
The king must rise again, Lee.
the king, you gotta say it right. The king will rise. You're
Oh,
about to
it's
see
the
my
sound
takeover.
bites.
Oh,
We will have to get some kind of king will rise if he does beat Hellenius.
I'll pull. Look, I'm close
Yeah.
to having a Deontay Wilder soundboard at this point. I just Zepeda progresses now for the vacant WBC title for November 26th in Southern California. Again, I don't understand the logic here. I don't know why it's in Southern California. I don't know why they park fights in LA, as we saw last night with people who don't know. There was nobody at that fight last night, by the way. Nobody. They couldn't even angle it to make it look like a good crowd when they did the pull away shot. So now we're going to put Zepeda Prograis as the main event. Oh my gosh. What's the draw here, Jose Zepeda? Nobody knows
Yeah,
Prograis.
he's from Long Beach, but that's really the only.
Oh, there you go.
But that's the thing, though. Nobody knows.
Yeah, it's Long Beach,
even
bro.
even though he's from Long Beach, like nobody fucking knows him. You know, I mean, like we should know him. You know, Top Rank has done a pretty good job of like putting him on some cards, and he's put on some fantastic fights. So hopefully, you know, the Long Beach crowd knows who the fuck he is, and he's some sort of something in the there, because it is. I mean, I'm not sure where does it specify where exactly. I mean, Southern California, whatever.
Kids in his
But,
spare time, Miguel.
Yeah. You know, that's supposed to be the draw, right? I'm not sure where Prograis from, but I know Zepeda's from Southern California, so I get that.
Prograis
I
is
just don't
New
know
Orleans.
how much of an.
He does
okay.
that whole New Orleans routine.
Gotcha.
Yes. Prograis from New Orleans.
Yeah. So
Like
I mean,
he's
so
wearing a
I
shirt
get it.
from New Orleans.
All right. So I get that part. I get the Zepeda part, but I'm not sure how much of a like mini celebrity he might be, or maybe he isn't for all I fucking know. But
it
makes sense.
Ontario Convention Center. This is like behind. This is not a fight for like even Dignity Healthcare Park or whatever the hell it's called this week. I mean, this is really like, hey, at the DoubleTree, Zepeda's taking out Prograis for the title. Get your tickets now.
To a casual fan, you are correct. But to a diehard boxing, these are two of the best junior welterweights in the world facing off here. So it's kind of sad that LA can't sell this fight. It shows you where the Southern California boxing scene is right now, because this is two of the elite. They're two of the best. You can't get any better at 140 than Zepeda versus Prograis. It's a legit title shot. What is it? What do they call it? A vacant title shot.
Yeah, it's a legit. It's a WBC night.
There should be dads out there that are taking their kids to watch this, because you're getting to see world-class fighting in your backyard. Forget that he's a hometown kid. You know these two because you watch boxing, and they're two of the best junior welterweights in the world. That's why we're going. It shows you where boxing is in Southern California. And I've been saying that for a few years now. I've seen the decline out there. The fact that they can't sell a hometown kid with over 30, he has 35 victories. He has almost won the title against Jose Luis Ramirez, another big Mexican-American fighter that everyone in Southern California should know. That's alarming to me. That speaks on the community, not on the fighter.
Well, there's a lot going on with LA. There's reasons why I left LA, and it's right up there with it's just not the place for boxing anymore.
No,
San Diego San Diego's produced better crowds. If you're talking about Southern California, I was shocked at the crowds in San Diego for those fights, which were not big mainstream fights, but they sold out that arena almost every time, or at least made it look good on TV. What happened last night with Fun? Well, we'll get into it. Yes, Andrew?
No, I ain't said nothing.
Okay. Chocolito Estrada, Chocolito versus Estrada rubber match to land at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Okay. Again, don't know why. Right? They put this fight on in San Diego and LA, and now we're moving it to Arizona. Have I got this right?
This fight belongs in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fight has street cred, so it works well for LA. the boxing fans that are in LA are very old school. Like you go to barbershops and you talk about boxing. Like if it's not in that pocket,
I think it's got to
no
be
one's buying
said. It has to be said. Are the promoters outpricing the Mexican fan base that lives in LA? Is that what's going on here? Maybe we need to look up pricing because Miguel, back in the day, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, we had no problem of filling up LA. I used to drive to the Staples. I drove to LA numerous times for fights. All right. They had no problem filling up out there. What is happening? Is it the pricing went up where they outpriced the fan base?
I'm sure that's part of it. And secondly, I'll keep saying it. Everybody's burned out on boxing not giving us what they promise.
Lee, but Prograis versus Cepeda, it's not. Listen, that's a huge fight. That's a good fight in someone's backyard, bro. You're talking about two world-class top 10 ranked fighters, if not top 5. I think they. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
are we
Prograis.
Yeah. Top 5 or top 3?
I think. I mean, Jesus, I might even go as far as to say top 3.
Top 3. You can't get any better than this. This should have been sold out a while ago because he's from the backyard, because he's Mexican American, and because Prograis is one of the best fighters in the world. Went 12 rounds with the undisputed Josh Taylor. That's sad. But promotions, Top Rank, they got to do better for Cepeda out there. And then whoever his PR people are, whoever's running him locally, they got to do better. But this fight should be sold.
Which takes us to Glendale, Arizona, to take this fight all the way out there. I don't get the move, Miguel, of sticking it in Glendale.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Just one more time to touch on Prograis and Cepeda. Not only did Prograis go 12 rounds with fucking Joshua Taylor, it was a majority decision. So that's how close that fucking fight was. So that dude belongs up there. Okay, so that's my rant on that. All right, so back onto this one. I'm not sure why the hell they felt the need to go to Glendale. The last when HBO was on its last boxing legs, they had their like short-lived Superfly series with a bunch of super flyweights, and the majority of the cards took place in Southern California. It makes sense. They almost developed a little bit of a little, I don't know what you call, like a friendship with Southern California and super flyweights. They basically had a bunch of these super flyweight cards there, and the fans loved it. They showed up to watch it. Yeah, it might have been the Home Depot Center, whatever the fuck it's called this week, but they would have fights there, and people showed up. People hella showed up. This is one of those fights. Granted, it was a few years ago. It's been a couple of years already since HBO has left the boxing business, but nonetheless, I'm sure the fans will still. I mean, how many times do people go to the Great Western Forum to see fucking minimum weight guys, strawweight guys, these guys that are fucking tiny? They love coming into watching these guys because we all know, generally speaking, the guys that are smaller, the boxers, are more technical than the bigger guys because they can't depend on the power as much. But when these guys do have some sort of pop, it's like, holy fuck, man, these guys put on some badass fights. I don't see why they are going away from Southern California for this specific fight here. And Glendale, like what's going on in Glendale is, I don't know how far that is from Phoenix, but if you're gonna go to fucking Arizona, go to the major cities. Go to fucking Phoenix. Right. Go to don't go to some piece of shit place or like Tucson or something.
No, I don't know why it wouldn't be like at the Action Arena. Their bigger
or the Forum, wherever the hell, what it's called, the Kia Forum now. They changed the name recently, but that.
And I gotta say, I know Miguel, you probably can back me on this. I know you guys watch Spanish television in your house. Mm-hmm. And on my feed, I follow Barrera, Chavez, Marquez, Morales, all of these guys. Mm-hmm. There are so many Spanish networks putting on boxing shows. Hell, Chavez's last birthday looked like it was celebrated on on national television. There was like a stage. It was everything was going on. Like, he's Muhammad Ali still. Chavez to me is still Muhammad Ali over in his country in Mexico. So it's not like even the Mexican-born Americans that come here that watch Spanish television aren't being shown Estrada versus Chocolito 3 coming up. They're not. You understand what I'm saying, Miguel? It is such a big sport over there. It's a shame that we're not doing better sales in Latin communities, Mexican-born communities or Latin-born communities here in America anymore. Back in the day, we had no problem selling out. Chavez used to come over to LA and fight. Barrera used to go to the Great Western and fight. They had no problem. That place looked like it was sold out. It was loud as hell. It sounded like it was a championship fight, and Chavez is fighting some guy who's 7 wins and 12 losses.
Yeah, and you know what? This fight, I mean, I just looked it up right now. Glendale, it is a little bit closer to. I mean, not that much closer from. To the border from Phoenix. It's still up there. It's still towards like middle of fucking of Arizona. Still not close enough. You know, because that's the thing. What Lee was mentioning earlier is what even the crowds that showed up in San Diego. It's like, yeah, there's fucking Tijuana's right over there, right over the border, right? So people are gonna come to watch these fucking fights. It seems that they're making it harder for the fans to come watch, especially from like Latino fans, because this specifically is a trilogy that we've been all, and we're all gonna support. I mean, shit, I drove to watch their fucking rematch in Texas, for Christ's sakes. I drove there and I bought myself one of those like red headbands that has like Gallito on it. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, yes, let's get this shit crack a like, and people want to see this trilogy. It's a big fucking deal, and to host it have the place, have the fight take place in fucking Arizona. Like, I don't know. This is going to be a
says it all
card, right
here.
Is this Matchroom doing this bullshit?
They're literally, if you're watching the video, I understand for the audio people, we're looking at the Ticketmaster map. They're blacking out the entire upper deck. They're cutting it off for the back section.
Wow, look at that.
They're using a lower 3/4 section.
Damn.
The floor is not being offered, and they're selling tickets at $30 a piece. Which none of these would be bad seats in this lower bowl to watch the fight. Not a one. The closer you get to about ring center, which are the ones bought up, they were $80. So they're not. Why didn't you put this on in San Diego? This fight would be sold out.
I would go to a minor league soccer stadium. If you're only going to do 10,000 seats, 12,000 seats, why aren't they going somewhere smaller venue in LA? Sell the bitch out like it's sold out. Freaking 80,000 seat stadium and have a great event for the fans.
This was sold out in San Diego.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a small arena, like a smaller arena next to Staples Center or whatever the fuck it's called now. I forget what it's called, but crypto.com arena or whatever. But there's a small like Nokia theater or something like literally next to it. It would fucking pack that place.
Yeah.
And you can probably like spike up the prices on the fucking on the tickets too. They don't have to be so damn cheap. You can add a little bit more, a couple of bucks to them. I'm sure people buy them, and they're not that much more expensive. They will still pack that place.
Jeez, there you go.
No. This is Matchroom, isn't it? Fucking
no, it always is.
Yep. Which takes us on to the first of our Deontay Wilder quotes. Oh yeah, don't worry, we have plenty for the week. He's getting ready for his fight, so of course. He does not have pressure. He's in a different position now. I don't know what that means in his world, but let's see what he means. It feels good. Even in my first region. Oh, first reign, sorry. Ooh, that one's on me for a change. It feels good. Even in my first reign, a lot of it was my way. But this right here is totally 100% Deontay Wilder's way. Okay, let's unpack that one. That one's great. Even in my first ways, it was my way, but this is totally 100% Deontay Wilder's way. Wasn't our big knock? Wait, let me translate for everybody going. He's saying way a lot. Well, we've talked about it, Andrew. The only way is the Deontay way. Like, he's never listened to anybody else when it comes to training or running his business. He literally is the guy who's making these rocket scientist level decisions for himself inside and outside the ring. It seems like to me.
You talking to me?
Yes, Andrew.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
In his previous reign, it was a lot of it was his way, but right now it's totally 100% his way. We've talked about this, and it's been 100% Deontay from day one. I don't know at what point he started to believe that his shit no longer stank, but I'm just saying it's totally me.
It was definitely after the first fight with Tyson Fury where he had a falling out with who was Mark Breland, wasn't it? When he fired his trainer. I mean, if anything, maybe he leaned on Breland. Breland was such a talented American prospect here, an Olympian. he might have listened to him, but when he got rid of Breland, no, the gloves were off in Deontay's camp. He was now the boss, and they were all yes men.
Do you know of any self-trained, self-promoted fighters that have done well, Andrew? I don't know of any off the top of my head.
No, and I guess you would say done well as far as when they start out.
But you can even think of, you know what? He did it 100% his way. He knows what he wants to do when he comes to the gym. He trains exactly this.
Most of the time, Lee, if you do not link up with a heavy promoter early in your career, you can get left out in this. The boxing community is a very small community. You almost need someone to back you to start your career off. Then, as you become known to the boxing world, yeah, if you want to break off and start your own promotions, fine.
Well, I would even go a step further. I mean, just in training alone, we saw it in the Breland area. Nobody talks to him in the corner. Like, he just sits there like a statue. Like he's just going back into work.
But I still think when Breland would talk in the training, Deontay listened. Where I don't think it was like that after Breland was gone. A lot of those, everyone just turned into yes men. That's just, that's how I feel.
Miguel, he's in a different position right now, and it just feels great to be in the position. I'm in with no pressure. I don't need the business anymore. When I do it for my own personal reasons. I'm doing it for the people, and I'm doing it for some hardware, some titles. Yeah. What happens to this guy? Like, how do you erase getting beat the fuck up for 3 fights and still have his audacity level?
Well, I mean, I definitely think it's toned down a bit. He's not at the screaming from the top of his lungs that he wants a fucking body on his record now. He's been humbled. I'm not gonna say he hasn't. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm happy to hear that he's doing it his way, whatever the fuck that means. Because I mean, as far as I understand, he was doing it his way before. He had a bunch of yes men around him anyway. So I'm not sure what the difference is now. It sounds like it should be the opposite. You think guys will be in his ear being like, no, we can't do it this way. We have to do it this way. I mean, goddamn, this is the kind of shit that like we see Chavez Jr. Would do with Freddie Roach. He just show up to practice whatever the fuck he wants to do. Does whatever the hell he wants to do. If Deontay has nobody, in his group or in his his corner, his team that's going to tell him no or put his foot down whenever some shit goes down, I'm not sure if that's going to help him any to not have someone like that in his corner. But I mean, I don't know what different position he's talking about. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I guess whatever. It's different people in his corner, but again, they're all same. They're all same yes men. So I don't know what he specifically is talking about. If he's in a better place mentally, fantastic. He went to go have his ayahuasca trip, fantastic. Good on you. Get better, come back, and hopefully he gets himself a good win. Because I mean, what people are, they're going to tune in because he's a big black dude and he's going to probably knock the fuck out of a big white guy. That's pretty much why people are going to tune in. So hey, if it happens, fantastic. We have ourselves. That's essentially what we're going to watch if that goes down that way, or the other way around. You have a big ass white guy who's going to fucking knock out a big ass black dude, and it's going to be entertaining television in general.
Will love it.
It's going to be in the street. They will adopt Hellenius, even though he's fucking Finnish or whatever the hell he is. But I'm not sure what exactly he's talking about. It sounds like he's in a better place mentally, which is ultimately what I think he's trying to say. Whether or not that's going to translate into in-ring success and his team of yes men who aren't going to protest anything, I don't know. That's going to be good for his career in general. But hey, what the fuck? I'm going to tune in to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any differences. I've seen, I've seen like clips of him training, and he looks stiff as fuck. He looks stiff as shit. He doesn't seem to have that. I mean, it's not like he ever was, Apollo Creed or anything like that with a smooth hopping or anything like that. He obviously never was like that. But he just looks stiff as all hell. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell they're teaching him or what the hell, bad habits or good habits he's trying to pick up. But I'm looking forward to the fight. I don't know what exactly he's talking about here with this. But I will say this. Yes, he does sound a lot more humble after, taking those ass whoopings from Fury.
Deontay's in a very good place right now. Deontay Wilder is on a rebuild mode. He has a fan base that is loyal to him. And he has three very winnable fights all of a sudden right in front of him where he's going to make millions of dollars. And those fights are Helenius, Ruiz, and possible Anthony Joshua. Because with Usyk and Tyson Fury negotiating, looking like they're going to do this big fight at some point between them two, you've seen the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight's already off the table.
Yes.
Wilder's fighting Helenius. I don't see, if Wilder beats Helenius, there's no way Al Heyman's going to go, yeah, let's scrap the Ruiz pay-per-view that I'm going to do, and let's offer his services over to another promotional company. It's not happening. He's moving forward with the Ruiz pay-per-view. That's his I mean, you're talking millions, guys. And yeah, he's coming off 2 knockout defeats, but now he's got his fan base. He has winnable fights, and the money's coming in. Now the money's looking good now. No, if I'm Deontay, everything's smooth right now. You just got to win. You just got to win. Fuck Tyson Fury and Usyk. They're not even worried about that. Their end game could possibly be the Ruiz pay-per-view, or if you win that, it's the Anthony Joshua pay-per-view. And all of a sudden, Wilder looks good in all of these fights.
There you go. Wilder also said this past week on retirement, I only want to give it 3 more years.
I just named the 3 fights. See? Ta-da!
1 fight a year.
Go. Deontay Wilder was 85% sure he wasn't going to retire in the aftermath of his defeat to Tyson Fury. What? First of all, Keith, I'd question Keith. Did he actually say 85%? And what an obscure ass number for him to pick. I only want to put in 3 more years. Ray Floor, by the end of 40, we don't have to be guessing about Deontay Wilder. We don't have to assume. You hear it from the horse's mouth now because you know a lot of media, they rather be first than being correct, especially when it pertains to me. You know? Ooh, there's another one. You know? But you hear it right here from me. You know? I only want to give it 3 more years, about till the end of 40, just about turning 41. And then I want to be done with it. I want to pursue other things. Now, hypothetically, he loses. Do you think he maintains this, I'm going to fight for 3 more years, Miguel?
I think it would depend how he lost. If it's like a close split decision, and maybe even going as far as to say it was a robbery or some shit, one of the judges was like super one-sided towards Helenius, then I'd say like, okay, well then I guess it's another story. It's another loss. Yeah, it does hurt him, but it doesn't physically hurt him. Like he didn't get some jarring trauma to the head knockout kind of deal with the way he was basically slapped around against Fury, but. I guess it would depend. If he does get fucked up, though, maybe he gets stopped. Even if he doesn't get knocked down, but he gets, stopped with his back up against the ropes, kind of tumbling over shit. Like, okay, that's like at this point. I mean, how many would that be? Would that be 4 losses? No, 3 losses, right? Straight. So that does not going to look good, and it's not look good for him because the first thing that we're going to start thinking is, oh shit, his chin is gone. His chin is gone. He can't take the punch anymore. Especially, we are talking about heavyweights here, so any one punch can do it. At this point, it's just too dangerous of a game. If it gets to that kind of KO, if we see that kind of KO loss to Helenius, yeah, at that point we have to say, fuck these next 3 years. You unfortunately, bro, you didn't make it to 40, whatever. That's pretty much it. You should call it a career.
If he loses, is he retiring, Andrew?
No, he won't be. He'll be retiring from the PBC pay-per-view market. Deontay Wilder, if he continues his career, will be ending up in the UK fighting for Eddie Hearn against Dillian White, Derek Chisora, things like this, trying to salvage some kind of career out there or make a few more checks and then call it done. But he wouldn't be over. He has money to make over there. I've said it before, ever since Holyfield did it, Roy Jones did it. They love seeing old Americans go out there and get their asses kicked. They love it. They sell tickets at it. Deontay could do the same path. So, but as far as the pay-per-view, I don't care how he loses. If that man loses to Helenius next week, is it next Saturday?
Yeah.
It's
this Saturday
over.
coming up. Saturday.
This Saturday coming up, it's over. The PBC market's done for Deontay Wilder. This is his comeback fight. This is a guy that the PBC fan base really doesn't know as far as, he has the 2 wins against Kalinaki. But besides that, this dude's a showcase fight for Wilder in front of his fans. If he's to lose to them, they're gonna lose. They're not paying $90 or $70 to watch this guy come. Who are they gonna match him up with? Oh, here's the cab driver. Pay $70 for him to fight this overweight cab driver in his next fight. No way, he's done.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like he loses, like yes, it's gonna be sad for American heavyweight boxing, but ooh, for PBC, holy shit, they're gonna be in some fucking shit if he ends up losing. And keep in mind, this is one of the pillars of PBC. Like they hoarded the welterweight division, and they basically praised Wilder for being the #1 heavyweight in the world. Yada yada yada. He loses, that's it. Like PBC is like on one leg at this point. One of those pillars gets knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And seriously, Deontay is the biggest thing Al Heyman has created since Floyd Mayweather. It's someone that Deontay, at least Deontay made, 25 million, 30 million a fight, fighting for Al Heyman. So yeah, this is a big piece of his stable getting taken away if he does lose this fight.
Adrian Broner's back, and he calls out Nate Diaz.
Oh.
Well, there you go. I mean, what else?
I don't care. Is it a cage fight?
No, it's a boxing. It's gonna be
Wait,
boxing.
I love this part. Just pray for me. Just pray for me, Broner said.
The fuck?
I love the sport of boxing too much to not give my all, and I feel like I came up short before because my mind wasn't 100%. Gonna take a wild guess, still isn't 100%, bro. There and I be damned if I make that mistake again. It's for sure one of the options. He's doing big stuff. He's just fishing. He doesn't want to fight anyone in boxing because everybody beats him now. So now we're moving on into the crossover sport people and fishing for it? Question mark, Miguel?
Yeah, I mean, like you pretty much named it. I mean, he's at the point where like no fucking welterweight or junior welterweight he can beat. So he's like, okay, let me go ahead and take on one of these MMA guys, and pretty much, I'm a name, so is Nate Diaz, and I'm gonna basically replicate what fucking Jake Paul is doing, and all these other guys, trade picking certain boxers or certain fighters who are no longer in association with the UFC, or the contract ends, yada yada. It's happening already. Well, obviously already that's happening, but most recently this guy. What's his name? Uriah Hall. Was a UFC middleweight who officially retired, left the UFC, and then now he's gonna fight some fucking football player on the undercard of Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. So it's gonna happen. I'm sure this is pretty much what he needs the name drop, right? Adrian needs some sort of staying relevant kind of news. So he's gonna name drop Nate Diaz for the sake of doing it. But it's bad. It's sad. I mean, I kind of feel for him. He's kind of like, I am gonna pray for you, Adrian. God damn it, because you're gonna need him, buddy.
Andrew, you're just not into it. You're not.
If it's not a cage match, I'm not into it. He sounds like a bully to me. That's when you're calling out a guy that doesn't. It's like a football player telling a baseball guy, "Let's play football." Like, stop it. All right, or a rugby player, however you want to say, because I know you're going to go, oh no, Nate Diaz throws punches. He don't fucking throw punches like a boxer. You put him in a boxing ring, he's going to get his ass knocked the fuck out, okay? Two different sports, not the same striking at all, not the same setup, not the same feints, nothing. There's nothing that you can compare to a boxer to an MMA stand-up fighter. Now, what levels those two out, you put a boxer in the MMA ring, and now Nate Diaz gets to kick him low, kick him high, use his fucking knees. Now we're leveling out the playing field. If we're not leveling out the playing field, I don't want to talk about it. I wasted too much time.
There you go. All right. Into the saga of Fury Joshua and whose fault it was. So Bob was the first one. Follow this, because this went on for like a week and a half of who's blaming who for the fight. Bob Arum fired first. Joining us on the show is Top Rank Bob, and hopefully not the end of my voice. Eddie Hearn is stalling everything because he doesn't want the fight to happen. And why doesn't he want the fight to happen? Because Joshua's lost 3 out of his last 5 fights. Pathetic. And he figures if he loses again to Tyson Fury, he's going to lose, right? So Eddie is, in effect, being an impediment. Big word. I don't know of any issues. He sends a draft, and then Frank and George reply, and we don't hear from Eddie for days. He's stalling until it dies down of its own volition. Another good word. Shows how sharp. I don't think it was part of that. I think Joshua, for whatever reason, wants the fight to happen. I know Tyson Fury does, but Eddie doesn't. All right, let's jump ahead in this story arc, shall we? Eddie Hearn rips on Aaron for comments about the... It's like 2 days later. Eddie Hearn responds to the comments that were made. Bob Arum hasn't had one phone call about this fight. No one from Matchroom has spoken to Bob Arum. He's just not involved. Frank Warren, who has had his comments on the situation, has not had one phone call with Team AJ on this fight. Everything has been between myself and Frank Warren's son, George Warren, and occasionally Frank in calls with the lawyers. So I can only tell you they've been great, by the way. Again, no disagreement. When people come out who weren't involved in the process with their opinions, like Bob saying, that it was the U.S. broadcast situation, what was the global TV rights is all done. It wasn't, but I want to focus on the fight. All right, hold on. Arum turns around a day after that. And this just keeps going on. Okay, so it's the Arum wanted, Hearn wants to kill it. Then Hearn, now Mr. Hearn got involved and he didn't want the fight to happen. Right. This is crazy to me. So again, to Miguel's point of guys acting like men, these two guys are acting like children fighting over. He said this. He said this. He said this. You said this. This is ridiculous. I mean, the bottom line is this fight's not going to happen. Andrew, is this fight going to happen?
What's going to be sad is if they just keep going back and forth because Arum's so old, he's forgetting things. That's what's going to be sad if you're Eddie Hearn's arguing with just an old man here. But no, listen, no one cares about the fight, Lee. No, the fight wasn't hot. It didn't go viral. No one I did not see the chat rooms, even with the UK fans, blow up going, AJ has a shot at beating Tyson Fury. That being said, the money that these two are going to want, like Spence Crawford, is way too high for them to profit off of the matchup. I don't think it happens because of financial reasons.
Miguel.
If there was ever a chance at this happening, I think we already missed it. Like, I don't think it's going to happen at this point. Like and to some degree, I think it's probably a good thing because only in boxing can fucking a fighter lose 2 times and still get a crack at, like, back to back, I should say, consecutive losses, and still get a crack at the lineal legitimate, heavyweight championship. But we all had the same sentiment. Fury, I'm sorry, not Fury. AJ didn't deserve the fight, right? He didn't deserve a fight like that after coming off of those losses, and it was one of those Canelo Chavez Jr. kind of countryman thing. I was like, all right, dude, here's one last paycheck before you call it quits because you're probably on the way out anyway too. So here's one last major paycheck. I'll give you a crack at the belt. And then they couldn't even fucking do that. They couldn't even come to an agreement. And I guess at this point, we're just playing the blame game and pointing the finger at the other person and whatnot. So, I mean, we're on the outside looking in, and we're only seeing what is being reported. So we're going to come to our own conclusions anyway, nonetheless. But we don't really know who's at fault here. But excuse me, but the bottom line is the fight isn't going to happen, and I'm kind of glad that it's not going to happen, to be honest, because I didn't think the fight, it didn't have that. It lost whatever it had lost whenever AJ lost to Ruiz, or even 2 times with Usyk. So at that point, it's fucking done. There's like the interest in it is like it's. I would be more interested in an AJ Wilder fight. Both guys coming off fucking losses. That's kind of a different story. Yeah, I'll be down for something like that. But having Fury, the top #1 fucking heavyweight in the world, fighting as countrymen for the sake of, like, hey, here's some peanuts, here's some scraps, off the table because you just suffered 2 losses. It's kind of like, oh no, that's not the kind of fight I want to see. I want to see 2 fights, fights between 2 guys that deserve a fucking fight like that deserve the hype, that deserve the pay-per-view money, etc. But yeah, if we had a shot at making this fight, it's gone. Like the boat has sailed already.
Yes. Andrew?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, there was a sound kickback. It sounds like you getting ready to say something. Julio Cesar Martinez and McWilliams Arroyo added to the Estrada. They're just rebuilding the HBO cards now at this point. Am I crazy for thinking this? Like that Eddie Hearn is just who was on the card at the forum. All right, let's just pencil all these people in. And I don't know why, because he's basically giving away the tickets at the arena, and he hasn't sold it out. So I don't know why he thinks replicating that card will be effective. But is this a scrap, Miguel?
Yes, it is. We all know that Martinez or Rey always comes down to like swing. They put him in the because of this issue. It was at Chocolatito and Estrada. I think it was Estrada's people that got COVID or something like that, right? They got the AIDS, and they ended up putting Martinez in his spot. He went up a weight class or two, I think, to fight Chocolatito. The fight didn't go his way, and that's really like the most recent loss. But really, other than that, this is basically supposed to be a rematch of their of their fight. They had a fight where it was like some sort of no contest due to a cut, I think it was from a headbutt. So this is basically to settle that. So yes, if you watch the first fight, they both knocked each other down, if I'm not mistaken. I know Martinez went down. I don't remember specifically if Arroyo did, but it was a fucking scrap for there was 3 rounds of just like fucking fireworks. These dudes were throwing like right from the jump. So I'm expecting something like that. Hopefully a little bit more of a cleaner fight. No headbutts and no accidental, gashes and whatnot. But yes, this definitely is going to, measure. It's going to move the needle for sure, because this is going to be a fun fight.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching. I agree with what Miguel said. Nothing really to add there.
There you go. Moving forward, Brandon Figueroa was arrested for allegedly. I like that they used alleged. DWI in Texas. We here at Fight Net Radio tend to report all fighters' misgivings. Hopefully it is just alleged, but generally in those situations, they're not a good look if you want to make money in sports. Doesn't seem to work out. Moving forward, Connor Ben tests positive for clomiphene. And if you're wondering what that all means, no idea. I wanted to find out on the show if there's a new drug I'll be testing. The fight has been
Oh no, you don't want to test this one.
Yeah,
this one I don't want to do.
No.
Is this explain why he's always a raging asshole every time he's on camera?
Right.
Are you sad that the fight's not happening, Andrew?
No, I was interested. I was gonna watch it, but no, I didn't lose any sleep when they said it was off. Look, once he got caught with the PED, I didn't.
It's an estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What the hell? Okay.
So once he got busted, I'm really not a fan of the guys trying to make a fight happen, forcing a fight to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When they miss weight, I don't have any interest in gauging the how the fighter looked or anything like that. To me, it's a fucking bum fight. When who was it? Castillo Corrales. When that fight, was it? Oh, that fight went on. Yeah, remember when Corrales came in? Castillo came in overweight on the rematch.
Yeah, and then he knocked out Corrales. Yeah.
Then he knocked him out. Yeah, that totally sucked. I was there, but it totally sucked. I remember feeling like I was being robbed. You know what I mean? Like the dude didn't even try to make weight. He comes in, then he just annihilates Corrales. And I was going for Castillo. Castillo, I thought, won that first fight. I thought they robbed Castillo in the first one, but it was dirty how he got him back in that rematch. That was a dirty. But yeah, when you pay, you just feel like you're being robbed when one of the fighters cheat. On this day, one of the fighters cheated. I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna say you can't get it from tacos, right? You're not gonna get a woman.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna explain why he did this for everybody going. What is clomiphene and why would you do it? All right, so you just have to look it up. It boosts your testosterone levels, like.
Oh,
ridiculous.
Yeah. No, they said that.
Okay, yep. But because it's only generally used in women for ovulation, he didn't think they'd be checking for this. They're just trying to find the loophole on this whole thing. This is primarily used for women who do not ovulate. And men, if you don't know what that means you're clearly not having enough sex in your life, and you should really check that out. It's an ovulation inducer. Like it's a female predominant. They were just playing the game that it wouldn't get caught. Wow. Are you sad the fight's gone, Miguel?
No, I want to echo what Andrew said. When they force fights to happen, like I mean, if I recall correctly, Chris Eubanks is a lot heavier than fucking Conor Ben, and they're just because they're the sons of these fighters, they want to make this rematch, quote unquote, between these two guys happen, and they're forcing it, and I don't like it. When they have to force it to this degree, it's too much. I'm glad the fight didn't go down. Yeah, it sucked that that it didn't go down because of this. There's this guy on YouTube and Instagram that I follow. His name is Derek. His page is called moreplatesmoredates.com. And this guy always is like a super, like what is the word? He's so he explains roids and the juice so well. It still goes over my head because some of the words he uses are like fucking 7 syllables. But
it's still clenbuterol. By far, that is the Rolls Royce.
Yes, it is. But he goes into detail as to what this does, and he's even gone as far as to say that sometimes it can be used as a masking agent, etc. So he goes into super good detail as to what the fuck this, because he posted a video and an Instagram post on what this drug does, and this fact that happened that he got caught with it. But I'm not how can I explain? I'm not sad that the fight isn't going down, because I wasn't, I would have watched. I'm gonna say I wasn't gonna watch. If the fight went down, I was gonna watch, but I'm really not that interested in it. I don't like the fact that they're forcing this fight to happen, and it sucks that the fight isn't going to happen under these circumstances. Yes, I would prefer that it not just happen in general, but the fact that this was it, because this could potentially do some serious fucking damage to Conor Ben. And I don't know what he said, like as far as his excuse goes, because as Andrew said, you can't get this from fucking eating carne asada tacos. You got it some other way. He's gonna go like the tainted supplement route and blame it on that. I don't know yet. I want to see what he has to say. Let's read some of these quotes, because I want to see what the fuck he's talking about or what his excuse is.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Nothing. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
It seems Andy Ruiz Jr. 18 hours ago posted that he will be fighting soon Tyson Fury. My time will come, and he has a picture of him and Fury in the ring. And Tyson Fury has now responded, "Seems you will fight in a final eliminator to fight me for the WBC Boxing King."
Interesting.
Yeah. So it looks like the USIC negotiations aren't going well with Fury and.
I mean, if Fury said he's gonna fight a title eliminator, who the fuck is he fighting? Who's the other guy? I don't know.
Isn't doesn't Ruiz have Oh, he just fought on. Yeah, Ruiz just fought
Ortiz. Yeah, he beat Ortiz. Yeah.
Well, maybe Lee. Let's look up the WBC ranking and see who that next opponent could be for Ruiz, and possibly leading up to a fight with him, which is fine. Look, Usyk is kind of the odd man out in this whole thing. He's with dumbass Eddie Hearn. I bet you him and Anthony Joshua will end up fighting, seriously, just so Eddie can double end that deal. So he's odd man now. I don't mind Fury versus Ruiz. If Ruiz wins, that's a good fight for Fury over there in the UK. They'll do big money out there, and I'm interested in seeing where Wilder goes. Wilder beats him, then you're looking at a possible Wilder AJ matchup happening a lot sooner, if they can come to terms with money. I still like and interested in seeing that fight.
There you go, Miguel. Anything on that?
No, I did want to go back to Ben and I mean, I'm glad that the Ortiz is going to get the opportunity. I'm glad, because yes, not Ortiz, I'm sorry, Ruiz. I'm going to support him. Hopefully everything goes down there. But I mean, he is going to fight the number 1 dude in fucking weight class. If he had a hard time with fucking Ortiz, for Christ's sakes, chances are, Fury is going to mop the floor with him. But there's always that chance, right? There's always a puncher's chance. Yeah, he certainly doesn't punch as hard as as Wilder. So who knows how big of a chance he's got there? But I'm going to support him. I'm looking forward to that one. It doesn't sound too good with this negotiation with Usyk. But yeah, I mean, great. If it happens, fantastic. Hopefully he gets past Ruiz. I mean, gets past whoever the title eliminator opponent is going to end up being, and we get to see a fight happen. But yeah, kind of sucks that this fucking Fury and Usyk has stalled, unfortunately.
The WBC heavyweight rankings are as such. Your champion is still Tyson Fury. Number 1 is Deontay Wilder. Number 2 is Andy Ruiz. Number 3 is Frank Sanchez. Number 4 is Robert Helenius. 5 is
All right, that's all we need, though. That's all we need. So Deontay's fighting Helenius kind of takes them out of the picture, correct? So that leaves Andy Ruiz is probably going to fight Frank Sanchez because Sanchez is also a PBC stable. Yep. So look for them to fight for the number 1 shot.
Wow, that's quite a test. I mean, not to like hype up Sanchez that much, but the dude's boring as fuck, but he's technical as all shit. So he's basically like I think I mentioned it before. He's a younger Ortiz, and if Ruiz had trouble with the older Ortiz, he's gonna have a lot of trouble with the younger one.
Yep.
There you go. One of my favorite stories of the week and my hot take, Andre Ward has been, for the better part of the week, crapping all over Canelo. With he doesn't have a lot of prime names on his list, blah, blah, blah. He'll never, am I the only one following this in our group? And secondly, after reading all these stories, because there were multiple Andre Ward stories about Canelo, is he angling for a Canelo fight? Andrew, I mean, why would Andre Ward suddenly just start crapping on Canelo?
I don't go to some of the comments to see if he's angling for a fight. I'm not going just off of the title, but
okay.
I would agree
it's
with
tricky, it's complicated, but on the surface, Alvarez has fought everybody. He's done everything. He's taken all the risks. If you know what you're looking for and you look at some of the names he fought, he doesn't have a lot of prime names on his resume. Now, that being said, I think Canelo is a great talent. I think he has a great career. And of course, he's a Hall of Famer. No doubt about that. But I think there's a little bit more window dressing with his record than what people recognize with his career.
No, I totally agree with what he's saying there. He just got answered. He got asked a question and he answered honestly. Everything he said is true. And we've talked about this on this show about him. He's actually like the Bernard Hopkins of this era where he's going to dominate. He could have been champion for years without all the fucking weight class jumping. He could have stood at super middleweight for years and just dominated. But at the end, when you break it down, none of the fighters that he has beaten get compared to legendary fighters, get compared to all-time greats. That's where his resume hurts, is the all-time great level. There's a lot of Hall of Famers, Lee. We say it all the time, that are not all-time greats in the boxing Hall of Fame.
Wait,
the Hall of Fame is
Deontay Wilder is an automatic first ballot Hall of Fame?
No, I'm saying he probably is. But he's not a first ballot all-time great. There's two different lists.
Deontay said he's all-time great and first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right, that's him. All right. Don't knock me off.
All right, go ahead.
So yeah, I don't disagree with what Andre Ward's saying. I think Canelo needs a rival, someone who comes out of the Olympics, a Jermaine Taylor, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad. He needs someone like that to come into his division, and then he can take out and get that all-time status. If he was to retire today, hell no, Canelo is not ranked anywhere on the all-time list with any of those divisions that he's won championship belts in.
Miguel?
I think it sounds as though we're talking about two different things.
I know we are, but it's all right. We'll go with Andrew's angle.
Because I mean, here's the thing. It says, a lot of guys in his prime. Granted, it's not a lot, but the ones that the Lauras and the Stouts, Trouts. I mean, those guys are pretty. Like, yeah, they're not Hall of Fame by any stretch. They're not all-time greats, but those dudes were in their prime. Those guys were in their fucking prime, and a lot of these other guys as well. Granted, the few that there are all-time greats like Miguel Cotto, he wasn't. But nonetheless, he was still considered the middleweight champion at the time, although he was no longer in his prime. So I get what he's trying to say here, as far as like a lot of these dudes. A lot of them, the important ones I think were like Plant, like Billy Joe Saunders. Granted, they're not all-time Hall of Famers by any stretch, but they were in their prime, or are, I should say. So I wouldn't say that he's got that many. Yes.
But Miguel, having a beer down at the MGM bar during a huge fight weekend, you're not going to get that argument past the diehard. The diehards don't care about dudes in their primes. We're looking at resumes. We're looking at who you were as a complete fighter at the end. Life is about timing. Sometimes your timing just isn't right. And right now, Canelo's time, he missed out, man. De La Hoya fucking forced him into that Floyd Mayweather fight, and he lost it, dude. That was his step over moment. If he steps over on that night, all of this shit is legendary. Then he goes 3 more divisions. He beats Cotto at middleweight. He goes up super middleweight, goes up light. Now it's all legendary. But he lost.
Okay, but let's say for the sake of argument that De La Hoya didn't, just hypothetically speaking, didn't throw Canelo to Floyd at that age, but rather at a later time. It would still be the same argument. It'd be he got a guy who's no longer in his prime. Yes, it's going to be a legendary guy the way he beat Cotto, but it's not going to be. Huh?
If Floyd's undefeated, it's not out of his prime. If Floyd is still Floyd Mayweather and he's the first man to defeat him, he's legend at that moment on. He missed out. He missed out on his opportunity. That fight was big, and you know what? Everything was in his favor that night. Even the city of Las Vegas, the fan base, the judges, the promotional company, everything was in Canelo's favor that night. He fucking blew it. So now he's waiting for another shot at this. This is why I keep saying that Ramirez fight is so huge, because that Ramirez fight is going to make one of those men. If Ramirez beats Bivol, one of those Mexican-born fighters is going to become an all-time great the night they face each other, and they have one of the classic Mexican showdowns, right? We all know, bro, when those fights happen, the whole country's watching. The person that leaves that night is going to be remembered forever. That's why I keep saying Canelo loses that fight, it's over. He's never going to be an all-time great. He lost every time he was supposed to get to the next level. So no, I totally agree with Ward. I think Ward
wants the fight. I'm going to tell you why.
I don't. Okay.
I think Andre Ward doesn't get enough respect for being as damn right like an all-time. He should be considered an all-time. Andre Ward is insanely good.
He is
insanely good, right? But he's never had a Canelo type opponent to make him.
Right.
Well, if he comes out of retirement,
he didn't have that keystone.
If he comes out of retirement and beats Canelo, how long do people talk about Andre Ward for the rest of his adult life? I mean, it's GSP.
We are talking about a Canelo with 2 losses now. So
it would be like GSP. It would be legendary.
Unfortunately, Andre Ward did not tap into the boxing community like some of the other fighters that do, and it's because of his character. No, they don't like the God willing, God this, God, I'm God, son of God, praise the Lord. I'm sorry. They don't like that stuff. They really don't. And that's what Andre Ward, you guys, listen. We all knew the man's been undefeated since he was 14 years old. He wins a gold medal in the Olympics. He wins every title in the middleweight division, super middleweight division tournament. This guy's legend. Light heavyweight. He has a great fight with
Kovalev,
excuse me. This guy's dude, this guy took out 2 light heavyweight champs. Chad Dawson was a light heavyweight champion. He was the #1 fighter. Ward knocked him out. Ward then knocks out Kovalev. Another light. He goes up there twice and takes out the guy HBO was proclaiming was the man. He was huge. They didn't tap into him.
Yeah.
They didn't like him.
And my dad mentions that shit to me all the time. He always tells me, like, yeah, he was a fantastic fighter, but he was never a pay-per-view guy. It wasn't until he fucking fought Kovalev that he became, because I mean, we saw him, nobody fucking thought, I mean, some, I guess, super insiders knew how good he was going into the Super 6. But like, I mean, realistically, we're like, oh shit, Froch has got a better chance for fucking Arthur Abraham or some motherfucker, the heavy hitter. We thought, I think Jermaine Taylor was in it too. It's like, oh, we all thought these motherfuckers were gonna take it, right? And then he ends up beating Kessler, and he ends up beating fucking Fracha. It's like, oh shit, fucking came out of nowhere. Like, wow, this dude is off the hook. And just unfortunately, it didn't. Maybe it's just he didn't have that other opponent, or maybe it was just, as Andrew said, like he wasn't necessarily the trash talking dirty dude. He was more of like a respectful son of God type of shit. And granted, if he wants to, how can I explain? He's gonna stick to his morals and be integrity to himself and his self-respect. By all means, I commend you 100%. But just understand that that's not going to translate that well with fans, and it's not going to be exactly the same. He's not going to tap into the hearts of fans as if he was a different kind of fighter. That's just the way the sport is, unfortunately. But the bottom line is he was never a pay-per-view guy, and I think because of that, people are gonna shave off a little bit of his achievements and not see him as one of the all-time greats because of that.
Now, in Ward's defense, Lee, because I don't want kids to hear this and think that you can't go down what he did. In his defense, his faith brought him a career that kept him undefeated since he was 14 years of age. It's just a record that I don't think will ever be beaten. It's a movie. That's Hollywood. What Andre Ward was able to do in one of the toughest sports, if not the toughest sport on the planet. Okay, he went undefeated. He won at the highest level. He never faced a defeat as a pro boxer. Okay, and the most biggest thing, he left this sport with his health intact. Andre's perfect. The way he talks, the way you don't see him with hearing aids. You don't see his eyebrows drooping. There's nothing wrong. So you know what Andre would tell you? I'm a millionaire. I've never faced defeat since the age of 14. I've won at every level they ever put me at. God did all that for me. I would never ask for anything else. Money can't buy what Andre was able to do in the boxing ring. And because of that, he is an all-time great. And I think he's perfectly fine of what he accomplished in the sport.
I'm saying it's Andre Ward versus Canelo. I can smell this one coming down the track.
I know. And then he's gonna be the bad guy in it. He's like,
no, he's not gonna be the bad guy. Canelo,
yeah,
Canelo is definitely the bad guy in that scenario. Definitely, Canelo's the bad guy in the scenario. He doesn't mind having a little bit of hate and shade thrown on him. Makes him train harder, according to him. But the vibe I get from the stories that circulated this week, trust me, coming off the bench after this long a layoff, jumping into the ring with Canelo, it's at least a $10 to $20 million payday for Andre Ward. Minimum for that fight. And you can hold it in Vegas. It would be epic. It would be epic.
It would. It's just not gonna. I just don't think it's gonna happen at this point. Yeah, at this point, and I want to say I've heard Ward say this several times already in older interviews, but he says he left a lot of money on the table when he left the sport, and so it's to some degree, and plus he's got the ESPN gig, so it's not like he's dying for money or anything like that, but. I'm sure it's tempting, for a fight like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he would come back for that. But realistically, on the balance of probability, no, I don't think so.
It would be.
You don't know. He might want a plane.
It would be because he missed the sport, not because he missed the money. Mm-hmm. If he does come back, he wants the competition thing again, and for that, I couldn't knock him. We hear every retired fighter. Every retired athlete say they go through that shit where they look at the young guys and go, man, I could take him, not really knowing if they can. It's just their mentality. That's what they're thinking. So for Andre, last time I heard, he lives in Livermore, California. Not very humble area.
Middle upper. I know.
Yeah,
Livermore.
Exactly. Yeah, he drives a Ford truck. Not a Lamborghini, not a Maserati with fucking stars embedded in the fucking ceiling of the car. Nothing like that. He was never, when I used to go out there, one thing me and Andre used to run into each other all the fucking time in Vegas, man. The guy was always humble, parked his car, walked to the parking garage with them numerous times, or him and his wife got in their own ride, left. No flamboyant, nothing, even though he was a millionaire. He didn't make Floyd-like millions. But he was making millions of dollars, and he stood very humble.
All right. I'm just marking my territory on this topic.
I hear you.
Last night we did have boxing, and the guy who looks the most like what's the abominable snowman from those claymation cartoons, the Mr. Bumble? Tell me he didn't look like
Wait.
Mr. Bumble last night. Yes, Andrew.
I would buy the fight in a heartbeat if it did. Sugar Ray Leonard did it. Why couldn't Andre do it? If Andre comes back and only takes on Canelo, I still pay for the pay-per-view.
I agree. Isn't it Mr. Bumble, the claymation? Never mind. He did. He came in even grislier last night. Like the beard was overgrown, the hair was overgrown. Hasn't fought.
He looks like the dad. He looks like the dad on the Croods. You ever seen the movie The Croods?
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that one too.
Yeah, little darker, but he looks like the caveman dad.
Gotta win. This guy hasn't been in the ring for like forever, and just walked over and knocked out Montiel. Were you surprised at the outcome, Miguel?
Not. Oh, let's see here. Not surprised that Adames won, but surprised of how he won. Montiel. He's like from a family of fighters, right? Montiel, we all know who Montiel, their last name very well. As a matter of fact, one of my BFF's stepdad is from Los Mochis, which is where the Montiel family is from. So he actually attended the fight in Southern California because he's going to go and, his countryman, his statesman, I guess. I'm not sure what that would be, but if that's the proper word, I mean. But nonetheless, we've seen Montiel. He fought Charlo, the Charlo or the Charlo, whatever we want to call him this year. But and he took all Charlo could fucking land on him. And there were a couple of times where he ended up hurting Charlo and the middleweight Charlo, of course. And it was like, oh shit, it was competitive for a little bit. Yeah, granted, Charlo basically handled him for the rest of the fight. But I thought, okay, well, Montiel is not going to go down easy, right? He's a dude that comes there's a lot of things that I don't like about him. The way he switches stances a lot, and he does this like no real jab type thing. But nonetheless, I was expecting the fight to go the distance. I thought it was going to be a much more competitive fight, and I was like, whoa, holy shit, he like mopped the floor with Montiel. I was like, whoa. So not necessarily surprised that Adames won, but the fashion that he won, that was pretty surprising. And it was only 3 rounds. Like, Montiel goes the distance. That motherfucker can throw down, and he's a like, knockout or knock me out kind of fighter. The majority of his victories were by knockouts. Yes, probably, taxi cab drivers and, taco vendors, but, it was still, he knocks people out. So I thought, okay, this guy's going to come in and swing with fucking Adames, and it didn't go his way. Wow.
Yeah, I was expecting a replay of the Jerwin and Cajas fight, which just we probably should talk about the fight because of the whole referee thing in the corner that made Al Bernstein melt down. But I thought I was gonna get more of the same.
But it was, you know what? That was a meltdown moment, though. I don't know what the hell Jack Reese was thinking about, but if we're gonna start coming to the point where referees are like, I don't like the power in his punches, I'm stopping this. What? Like, that was so stupid. The guy was punching back. Listen, professional boxing is a fucking it hurts. This sport will hurt you. What do you say all the time, Lee? You'll die, right? Every time you compete, a piece of you dies in that ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all know it, man. We've all seen the Muhammad Ali story. We've all seen the stories of these guys that have fallen. They're still doing it. Let him be fucking warriors. If he's a warrior, you let him be a warrior. It is not Jack Reese's job to act as a doctor without being a doctor and stopping a fight because he thinks a fighter doesn't have the same punching power as he did in the first round. That was absurd. It was also absurd when he announced to fucking, I want them fined for dumping water. Like, I don't know, Jack Reese was acting weird last night. Usually a stand-up referee.
Well, somebody has to be bought for that fight to make Jerwin can continue. Did you have any feedback on the Jerwin talk? How about, by the way, while we're with you, Andrew, Carlos versus Montiel, did you get the outcome you were looking for? Were you surprised it wasn't a 12-round workman-like affair?
No, it was a good fight. They came in, they handled their business. Both of them have decent records. So Adams, he was the star. He was the guy that was supposed to win. He won, and he won in good fashion. So hopefully PBC moves forward with them. One thing I wasn't surprised in was the lack of activity in the ring. That's just the PBC way. That's why, it's just I expect Adams not to fight for like 24 months now.
Yeah, right. Why should he? He's got the belt.
Yeah.
Miguel, you're the one who sent out the Jack Reese meltdown, but I don't know why the PBC is so invested in Jerwin and Cajas. Like that, you've got to buy off a referee who way out of character for him for that fight. Secondly, one of the scorecards literally had him pitching a borderline shutout in that fight. I mean, this thing was so stacked for Ancajas that it was almost comical. Admittedly, there's a guy who won some rounds, and I hate it when the announcers start off. Morrow did it. Workmanlike performance. God, don't announce a fight as workmanlike. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't do it.
Yeah, too much. Go to the main event. I gotta go, Lee. It's 10:30.
Right, I know. All right. And your main event of the evening, Sebastian Fondura. The only fun fact to me was that his sister, the female Fondura, looks just like Sebastian with long hair. They have the same glasses and the same body type.
Yeah.
It was funny. It's almost like he put on a wig and he's competing in the women's division. He just puts on the halter top.
If I'm the father, I'd rather see my kids look the same than see they don't, Lee.
I guess. Oh, God.
Unless the dad is like fucking 5'2", and these guys like, wait a second, hold the fuck, hold up.
All right, the kid has class. I like the way he handled himself through the whole thing. The fight itself was a complete snooze fest. I don't know why he's obsessed with standing inside and like he does this whole I like to trade blows thing. He's gonna get knocked out doing the stuff he's doing, and he is not the Cobra. Okay, he should be using that reach and learning how to set that thing up. He frustrates the crap out of people because he's a southpaw. He should just be sitting back, waiting to launch that left hand straight down the pipe, and he doesn't do it. I mean, he does this inside fighting where it's like close. He wins rounds, and then, final 6. I'm just going to stand back and launch Scud missiles from behind my massive wingspan and cruise out the rest of the fight. I'll start with you, Miguel.
Oh.
It's a really dumb game. You would think he'd have more sense, Andrew. I mean, it's a really dumb game for his size. And he brings that head down. And he brings that head down as well.
His 6'5" goes to 6'1", 6 foot right away. Right away. As soon as the bell rings, basically, he chops half the upper part of his body is gone. He now goes into a shell and goes right into the inside. It's makes no sense. At the end of the fight, you've seen when he started staying behind the jab, it became an easier fight. It was at that point I was
apart. He tore Ocampo apart at that point.
Yes. I don't understand how his trainer doesn't see that. If his trainer can't get this into this kid that he's fighting the wrong game style fight plan, they got to release him. His manager, his promoter, someone needs to get him with the trainer that is going to show him how to fight. He's a fucking freak. The kid's a freak.
He should literally be the baby Cobra. Like, that's what they should call him. He should be all jab and then launch that left.
He has chin. He has power. He has the energy to go 12 rounds. Like, he shows everything. The chin, he was tested in his last fight. I know Lubin dropped him, but he also came back in a great fashion to stop Lubin. So I'm tired of them protecting him. What's sadly, and then I'm going to throw this over to you guys. I got to get out of here. But what's sad is he's not going to fight for the belt until the end of 2023. With fucking Zoo and Charlo setting up their fight for the beginning of next year. Come on, they're not putting Charlo in a fight with Zoo in, I think, January or February, and then going to run him right into Fondura in the summertime. You know they're going to have a build-up fight for them two, and then they would fight somewhere at the end of 2023. It seems so pathetic how they knocked that Charlo fight so far down the road. It's kind of a bummer on that side because I think the kid's ready.
Yep, I agree. And that's Andrew Lapachet, who's about to run off and go 4-alarm all the kids and feed his wife, as he should. I'll turn it over to you, Miguel. Has there never been a bigger client for the Kronk's gym waiting to happen?
Yes, right. I mean, that's what we're hoping it gets in that direction, and I hope that his dad is smart enough to recognize it, because his dad is basically, if I'm not mistaken, his trainer and is in his corner. So enough to recognize, like, hey, dude, this style isn't helping you. And to Fondura's credit, at the end of the fight, and in the post fight interview inside the ring, he did mention that, this is what fans come to see, and this is what he gave him a little bit, which is nice. That's appreciated, but realistically, he probably shouldn't be doing that. He can win in other ways that involves, that still is a fan friendly way, and it reserves his fucking brain. What's the word? He's a good inside fighter. He actually is quite good. It just, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to fight on the inside, and he does. He basically does kind of like that Antonio Margarito thing, where he kind of hunches over and he kind of makes himself shorter when he probably shouldn't have. And that's kind of, that's one of the reasons why a lot of his opponents, and he can get away with, like, just kind of, blocking the shot and just kind of stepping back, because he actually did that quite a bit in this fucking fight, because Ocampo was throwing so wide, like a bunch of wide shots, and it was, essentially to do that. When you come over with that right hand or the left hand and throwing super wide hooks, it's to connect on taller guys. But all really, Fundora has to do is just bring up the hands and just block them, really, because that's really, by that point, that the power is already gone in the punch. But he doesn't have to fight on the inside, which kind of, I'm hoping his corner, his dad says, dude, don't do that. You don't have to do that. And, maybe if it's something that he needs more help with, better help with, in regards to getting that kind of style out of him, then yes, by all means, give Crunk a call. I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help him, because he has that kind of, and as what Andrew was saying, he's a fucking freak. The guy's a freak. I mean, look at him. Jesus Christ. You see how scrawny he is. And granted, he might not have the same kind of power as the Cobra, but he still got some power, enough to hurt people. And I think he's kind of falling in love with that. He threw those uppercuts against Lubin so well that it worked for him, and I think he thinks it's going to work on everybody else too, and it just isn't, or at least it hasn't yet. At least with a combo, and he did land some. I'm not going to say he didn't with a combo, but it didn't finish the job the way it did with Lubin. But it does suck that he's going to be a while before we see him fight the top dudes. What Andrew was saying, I want to say January. I don't remember specifically, but I think it's January when it's scheduled. What's his name? Fucking Tim Zhu and Charlo, the other Charlo. If I'm not mistaken, that's when they're scheduled to fight. That's tentative, the date. But if for whatever reason, if I was in Fundura's corner, I say, hey, you know what? Keep training. What if some shit goes down with Sue isn't able to fight, or let's say Charlo isn't able to fight, and he gets in there as like a replacement or something? That's not a bad idea either, So definitely stay ready. But it does suck that he's gonna basically have to wait until that fight settles out first, and then wait several months. And here's the thing: I do think that he's gonna be able to fight the winner by the summer, because if we're talking about January, which I think is January, we can look it up here shortly, but I think it's January when Charlo is supposed to fight Sue. Then to the summer, that's 5 months. That's plenty of fucking time. They can take some time off and then get back into training. That's plenty of time off. So I'm thinking he can get the winner by June. He doesn't have to wait until the end of the year. But that does mean that there's a chance he's going to have to fight one more time and not have to wait. We're in October, November, December. Another 8 months before he fights again. So probably another opponent between now and then. But I'm excited to see him. I mean, yeah, it was. He gave us a little bit of the fireworks, right? He was inside a lot when he probably shouldn't have, but he got himself the victory. He's the effing interim WBC champ, or whatever the fuck, like silver or whatever they want to give him.
Whatever.
But it does suck that we're gonna have to wait until like next summer to see him. Hopefully we see him one more time before then.
There you go. Visit our website, boxingtonight.io. You can follow us, all of the broadcasted shows, videos, etc., as well as the news feed and a complete comprehensive boxing schedule for Super Saturday next week, where the possibility of 25 boobs can be seen on a single day.
You're reaching. You're shooting for the stars, man.
I'm including Deontay Wilder as my 25th boob, so I've got that going for me. Please check out our website. Please follow us on social media. Click like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we will see you guys with all your results from a long Saturday